welcome. My name is George Schlackeck, and this is The One. Get more out of your drone. That's what this channel is about. Now, as you can see, for winter I'm dressed very lightly. I've got a cap on instead of a hat. Well, I happen to be in Mexico right now, and this is what this video is about. What if you're going to Mexico on a vacation or an extended trip or whatever, and you have a drone, you're a passionate flyer, and you want to take advantage of the different scenery. You want to fly your drone in Mexico. Are you allowed? Is it fair to do so? When I first faced this question over 2 years ago, there were all kinds of thoughts going through my head. Ooh. Barbara, my wife, she was like, maybe they're going to confiscate your drone before you even get into the country or something like that. Then there's the question of bringing a drone on a plane as well. You got LiPo batteries. You might want to discharge them before you go on a plane, but here's the thing, as long as your batteries are in this case that it comes with, well, usually you should be okay. Nobody will even blink an eye. That's been my experience. But that's for any flight. So what about Mexico specifically? What's my experience? Well, I tell you, this is the third year that I brought my mini drone, the DJI Mini 2, down to Mexico with me. Is it legal, you might be wondering? And, well, what I did in order to find out for sure, first I watched a few YouTube videos. Some of them were in Spanish. Well, my Spanish is okay, it's still... Sometimes I have to listen to it twice just to make sure I understand everything correctly. The second step of what I did is I found this on the internet. These are the official Mexican Aviation Regulations, and it's the part about drones. First, I want to show you the classifications of drones. See, what we have is micro drones, then we have small drones, and then we have Arpas Grande, large drones. The classes go up to 2 kilo for the micro ones, then between 2 and 25 kilos for the small ones, and anything above 25 kilo, that's takeoff weight, is considered large. Did you notice there isn't any mention of less than 250 grams? Micro drones go up to 2 kilos, but you got to be careful about that, because it being a micro drone does not mean you are allowed to fly it. So I have here probably the part that you need to be most aware of. It's Regulation 511, and it says here about micro drones for recreational use, has to comply with the Mexican norms, blah blah blah. This is important. And the section A, it says you have to, I'll read it in Spanish, then translate it for you.
Obtener un folio de registro de ARPAS a través de la inscripción de los documentos por los cuales se adquiera, transmitía, modifique, grabe o extinguía la propiedad.
It means you have to register your drone. But then it goes on. You have to register your drone with a maximum takeoff weight that is more than 250 grams. It's 0.25 kilograms. That's 250 grams, guys. So this rule that you have to register your drone, it only applies to drones that are above 250 grams, and that's without having an extra class for these drones. I think it's almost like in Canada, they're kind of considered toys, so you're allowed to fly them with very few restrictions. Now, if you had to register your drone, say you wanted to bring your bigger one, you're going to find that they won't let you do this unless you're actually a Mexican citizen. If there's any changes to that rule that I'm not aware of, please fill me in. I'm aware of people from other countries who are actually flying their DJI Air 2S and other drones that are larger than 250 grams. But it's kind of due to the lack of enforcement that is typical around here, and it's not something that I would go for as a visitor. Like the way I see it, I'm a visitor to this country. So I'm going to do everything possible to comply with their laws, and it'll keep me out of trouble. And if ever I'm in doubt about flying the drone, I will ask. I will ask some local police or whoever. And I found that in most cases, when I asked them, they were pretty straightforward, saying that, yes, you can fly it here. It's normal. No se preocupe, is how they like to put it. So it's very, very relaxed here. There's a lot of places you can fly. And these 250-gram drones, you can actually fly them over people, as it states in this document very clearly. I've got some stuff highlighted here. There are restrictions in here above here that you cannot fly over people and this kind of thing. But Nota 1 says,
Si el peso máximo de despegue de la Airpass es igual o menor a 250 gramos, esta se puede operar sobre personas.
This means if it's less than 250 grams, you can fly over people. And I've seen a lot of people do that. I'm still very careful about this because, you still don't want to fly it where there's a lot of people. There's a rule here. It's number 4.10.4. Here, all these rules, number 4, they are about operating your drone. And yeah, it's pretty much right at the top. It says that
El piloto del Airpass no debe operar la aeronave si el vuelo no se puede hacerse de una manera segura.
it means you're not allowed to fly the drone if you cannot conduct your flight in a secure manner. And there's all kinds of things like that. I will not go through every one of them because it's kind of the common sense stuff. And the biggest rule here is that don't piss anybody off. If you're ever in doubt, there might be local restrictions. Ask someone. Other than that, stay away from crowds. What else can I say? What I think of? Archaeological sites are no-no. They are restricted by the federal government. Another thing that needs to be pointed out is, and you can refer to the DJI map to cover most of this, is you are not allowed to fly within the 9.2 or 5 nautical mile radius of an airport. And also, you're not supposed to fly within the 0.9 kilometer radius, which is half a nautical mile, of a heliport. You can look these up on the internet, on the Mexican site. I'll be honest with you, I never did. I go by the DJI map. I'm not sure. I don't want to say that this is 100% what you should do, but I noticed that the airports are on there and the heliports. So you should be pretty safe. I just don't want you to take my word for it if you're in a zone where there's lots of air traffic going on, or say there are tours, or, here in Puerto Vallarta, for example, they have a lot of paragliding. So this is something to watch out for. There are people hanging on parachutes that are in the air being pulled by a boat. So I wouldn't get close to these, obviously. When I see that, I would stay far away from them. But, and this is all common sense stuff. I highly recommend you look up these rules. I will try to leave a link in the description so you can find that easily. They will be in Spanish. To find them in English, you might have to go on to, just do a Google search. I've done several, but I had trouble finding the exemption of 250-gram drones because a lot of the sites will not tell you, because it gets confusing when you have 3 classes of drones and there's not really any mention of the 250-gram maximum limit for. See, the micro drones are all drones that are up to 2 kilos in takeoff weight. And that is different from the Canadian rules, the US rules, as far as I'm aware of them, where sub 250 gram drones are completely different category. But here, this is also exempt. So that's basically the thing that you have to remember. Bring your mini drone. You can get your Mini 3 or your Mini 4 with this awesome camera. When it's too windy, just don't fly, or you could probably cope with it in a way by flying out against the wind and flying back with the wind, and then you adjust the horizon when it goes crooked in post-processing, whatever you want to do. But the main takeaway here is absolutely bring your drone to Mexico. You will not regret it. You will get awesome shots. This is my third time I got my drone in Mexico. Different locations all the time. Got a lot of awesome footage, and I enjoyed it big time. Want to see some of my footage from this trip? Now, I really hope that you find this video helpful. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. And you might also want to keep a copy of this with you when you're flying, because sometimes maybe there's an over-ambitious police officer and doesn't like your face or whatever. Comes up to you and says, hey, you can't do that here. Then you can always have a conversation, what is it, why is it not allowed? And well, if they don't have a case that is based on local bylaws or whatever, you can just point to that, where it exactly explains that it's less than 250 grams, and the rule that you have to register your drone does not apply in that case. Now, if you have a drone that is heavier than 250 gram drone and you've come to Mexico with it and you've flown it, please leave me a comment and let me know about your experience. I mean, I know of people who have done this, who do this, and seems to be without a problem as well. But like I said, as a guest, I choose to respect the rules that there are, especially since the mini drone that I have, it's just a DJI Mini 2, but it is so awesome that I'm fine with it most of the time. There have been a few moments where I thought maybe my Air 2S would have been nice because the dynamic range is better, it's more stable in the wind and all that, but these things are relatively minor, and I've been happily flying this Mini 2. It's now 3 years old and it's holding strong. So please leave me a comment down below. I also have some affiliate links down there because maybe you are in the market for a drone. And the thing is, if you use one of my links, which is amazon.ca, well, then I get a little bit of a commission. And with a YouTube channel like this, everything helps. I appreciate big time. Many of you have already subscribed to my channel, but if you're watching this and you find it useful and you have not subscribed yet, well, you're welcome to do so. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll probably have some nice footage of Puerto Vallarta for you.